Hey Mike, no one would have got more satisfaction out of Izzy's win than you would have, because you've been in the camp for a long time. I don't know when you didn't ever corner Izzy.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. We've all been there for over a decade. You know, we've been through the trials and tribulations, and lived through obviously the Pereira fights. So definitely a great deal of satisfaction. Probably didn't notice the intensity of that crowd and the hype in the way that everyone else who was sitting there watching did until I rewatched it about 2 weeks later. We were certainly caught up in the moment, but the kind of electric nature of that environment I didn't appreciate until I got back. So, you know, pretty cool. But, you know, we're back in New Zealand doing our low-key thing. But certainly the way to rewrite that chapter and rewrite that ending had a huge punctuation mark, and was very satisfying. You know, not without trials and tribulations in that camp as well. But Israel did what very few fighters are capable of doing. Is one, he had several strands to his game plan and he was executing those. He also adapted on the fly, and you know, he took advantage of an opportunity. We knew that opportunity was there, but you still need the fighter with the composure and the vision to be able to do that. And he was able to do that. And I think there's good reason why Alex has gone up to 205 now as well. I think making that middleweight limit is very, very taxing for him. You can see he's huge. Israel's tall in that division, and Alex in many ways looks huge next to Israel. So probably a good move for him.
Go back over the years, the decade or more that you talk about. When was it that you got the feeling about, hey, this is somebody special?
Look, it's hard to say. See, what makes someone special, I guess, in terms of physical gifts, we see 5 or 6 of those guys come into the gym every year, so we see them come or go. What made Israel a little bit different is his absolute self-conviction. And as a consequence of that self-conviction, it wasn't delusional. He was willing to to put in the work to make it happen. And elite athletes, they have the physical tools, they have the confidence, but they're also willing to put in the work to develop the skills to make it happen. And that's something that characterizes his success, which means he is one of the greatest of all time. And guys, you know, with the best fighter in their block or in their school or whatever, they probably have the same gifts. But Israel's combination of physical tools, his mental strength, and his work ethic combined to propel him to where he is. And also, you've got to have the right people around as well. And he's got a great family around him. He's got a great set of coaches led by Eugene around him that he's had a long relationship with for over a decade. And that also, you know, makes a massive difference. On that note, sort of shout out to Alex as well, in that he's kept some of the same coaches around him that he's originally had, you know, so that bond is really strong with them. Obviously Glover's come on board as well, and they seem to have a good coaching relationship, but you can't understate the importance of those relationships, because the man's in there on his own, but he's not an island, you know, he needs pillars. And so it's all those things that combine.
You talk about the coaching, and you were in high demand already because China was after you, and things with COVID coming at the wrong time, that didn't work out. But would you be thankful, you know, that you were back in your old hometown and in the team? It would have been pretty sad if you had been over stuck in Shanghai somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously that's a great option, and the UFC and the PI are a really good company. So you know, obviously that's unfortunate. By the same token, because I was no longer employed by the UFC, I was able to be in Israel's corner, and yeah, that was nice timing, shall we say? You know, and those are moments in history, and I've been fortunate. I've been there across the years. You know, cornered Ray in K1, watched Ray get to the finals in K1, cornered him for his world title fights, called Mark Hunt when he won K1 from ringside in Tokyo Dome, been there for Joseph Parker's world title win, also when he fought Anthony Joshua. So I've been fortunate to be there across some really great moments, even down to Miyamoto over the weekend, winning the IBO title. But Israel's in Miami at UFC 287 was by far, in my humble opinion, the biggest achievement of anyone in New Zealand combat sports. More than that, I think it's inside New Zealand's top 5 of sporting achievements. Now, that's always debatable because it's subjective. But if we look at global status, we look at what he did in reclaiming a title against a guy who's an absolute killer. If we look at the level of competition and the number of countries competing, and we look at the eyeballs on screen, and we also look at the X factor in terms of one man's ability to move not just a nation but people around the world. Love, hate, but people around the world. For me, there's not many greater achievements, you know. And the debate will rage on, but you know, for me, top 5.
Anybody in New Zealand knows your involvement and what you've done in the sport, and but it still must have been pretty. You must have felt a little bit humbled when Eugene stepped back and said that you and Tris were the instigators, or a big part of the instigation of that plan.
Look, Huge is pretty he's pretty soft-spoken. He sort of undersells himself. There are 4 coaches, actually really 5 if you include Frank Hickman in there, who all contributed significantly to the game planning of that, and that's the strength of the team. And part of the strength of being a head coach is also being able to step back, to have a look at the information that's coming in, and it doesn't always coalesce. You know, sometimes you can have some quite different information coming in from quite different coaches, but ultimately, head coach has got to take advice and make a decision. So, we were fortunate that we were able to work together like that. In a sense, it's kind of like 5 CEOs who are not psychopaths. You know what I mean? So you have to operate within a team, and that coaching team operates within the team. In my mind, having already written Hellberg nominations for Eugene and Israel before, I can't do it for the coaching team this time, but I would say this coaching team has been at the top for 5 years. And if you include Glory and everything else in that, for a lot longer. Been involved in 2 current UFC champions, plus Kai's ascent for an interim title fight. We've propelled guys, at one stage I think we had 4 guys inside the top 10 in the world. That is no mean feat, and I think the coaching team, without being immodest, needs to be recognised for what they've done and what they're doing. Tristram and Andre, they have incredible combat sports brains. Frankie Hickman, he's able to come in and have that similar level of sharing and reception to ideas. And that's very, very difficult to do. You look at what Graham Henry did with the All Blacks and the people he brought on board, including bringing on board a previous All Blacks coach into the assistant coaching role. That ability to create a team of world-class coaches like that needs recognition in terms of where you're just coming from, but that entire team is world-class. Not only is it world-class, it is one of the best combat sports combinations of all time. And as a Kiwi, I'm not comfortable saying that, but as an analyst, fuck yeah, we deserve a lot of fucking recognition. And rugby, netball, league, as much as we love you, we're up there, and in many ways we have surpassed you in terms of our achievements in recent times, which is not to decry, World Cups and world titles at times past. But right now, I think our particular group is in the ascendancy and has been there for quite some time.
Is there anywhere else in the world where that sharing of information, you go back from Eugene and yourself back to Lolo and passing on information right back to Sifu Lam, and it seems to be like you're not scared to give information, and after this you're away on a seminar tour, so it's not like, hey, the secrets are CKB.
Look, there's a couple of facets to that. Tristram in a class the other day said, I'm going to reveal the secret book. And then he said there's no such thing as a secret book, which is why I've actually called my seminar tour the Secret Book Tours. Because there's no such fucking thing as a secret book. A left hook and a right hand are all the same. How you slip, how you move, the direction you move against a southpaw, for example, is the same. You follow the same basic principles. That's not giving anything away, other than what I would suggest is that perhaps a lot of people don't do enough homework, or are reliant on other people doing their homework for them, or have one particular way of looking at things. So then it seems like a revelation, but it's not. All the best coaches in the world, they beg, steal, borrow, they look at things, they analyse, they are obsessed about what they do in the same ways that fighters are obsessed. So there's no secret book. There is just an understanding of how techniques apply. The difference is in how you read a fight, how you break down a fighter. What are your strategies? And that is an intrinsic thing that comes from within a coaching team, not, what's the correct angle to throw your left hook or slip to the right and stay off the cage. You'll hear the same thing: stay off the cage, keep centre ring, move away from the southpaw's left hand, for example. It's all the same. It doesn't change. You listen to what people say in the corner, it doesn't actually change. What's really makes a difference, and what a lot of people miss, is two words: double up on the left hand. Just stutter step for a moment and then drift. You're not going to pick that up if you're just watching. It's those small adjustments make a massive difference in a fight, right? And so the secret book that's where the secret book is, not these big fucking huge volumes of stuff. Lolo was very good at it, world class at it, and we're fortunate to have that grounding, going back to his trainers as well. Ray Sefo is very good at it. and what he's doing as well. So his lineage goes back to obviously he's working in PFL at the moment. So I'm not sharing a massive secret book. What I'm telling you is what is already there, you know. But you just got to go and you got to watch tapes. You got to have a look at these guys, and you have to do your homework, and that's how it works. And yeah, I probably over-answered that question, but there you go.
Just tell us, where are you going? Because I was down at Rotorua at the weekend. I heard them talking about your seminar down there.
Yeah, so I'm heading off Wanganui, which is the hometown, Hamilton, Gisborne, Hawke's Bay, Dunedin, Christchurch. Still haven't had any interest from Queenstown and Wellington yet, but we may end up there. And then from there, just working out the details, but hoping to head across to Bali and Thailand, and Dubai and Emirates as well. Just to, as I say, I'm not opening a secret book. I'm just pointing you to where things are and showing you techniques. How you choose to apply them is actually where the secret lies.
Thanks, Mike, and everybody out there. Get along and watch the seminar. I guess you'll be advertising it widely.
A little bit of social media, but just working on it. But looking forward to it, and that's the other thing I think is New Zealand has a lot of good horses. Yeah, what I mean, is we've got some good stock, decent stock out there. But in order for there to be growth beyond, what is CKB centric at the moment, we need to kind of help spread and just disseminate that knowledge. And we've got some great coaches out there as well, and sharing ideas with those great coaches will be brilliant, and we'll just keep on doing that.
Thanks, Mike.
Cheers, buddy.
Cool.
All right.
Always good talking to you.